What's up guys, Austin from Austin's Trading Group. Welcome to this video. In this one, we are going to be doing another trade recap review on a NASDAQ futures day trade. This is on the NQ guys. NQ is the main symbol that I give my day trading focus to. Sometimes I'll look at some other names like crude oil. I'll take a glance at ES, but for the most part, I'm usually giving my attention to the NASDAQ. It gives great range and it just works very well with my strategy. So let's talk a little bit about today what I did right, what I did wrong, what I was looking at in the trade, the analysis behind it, and all the good stuff. So without further ado, guys, let's head on over to the charts and take a look at what the trade was for today. All right, guys, welcome to the charts. What we got going on here on the left and on the right are two intraday NASDAQ futures charts. On the left, I am mainly looking at the overnight volume profile to find some key zones going into the session. So how I find these key zones is I have an overnight profile and I'm just looking for these high volume areas. So those high volume areas are going to be the parts where we have extended nodes. So you can see we have a cluster of those nodes here to the upside or on the top here, top of this little range. And then on the bottom, we have a much bigger collection of nodes going out, could potentially be acting as support. So what I'm always looking for is nice high volume areas from the overnight session. And I'm also marking up the prior day value areas. So we can see on the chart on the right here, this is my chart where I have a lot more structural stuff. I have a 24-hour VWAP, session VWAP, and then the prior day value areas, along with this green dotted line, which is the overnight low, this red dotted line, which is the overnight high, and there's a couple other market levels on here, such as prior day low, prior day high. So let's jump right into it, see what we had going on today, and how we traded it. So let's skip to the open. See, these levels just changed. These are prior day low, prior day high, prior day close. So right into the session, we just immediately pop higher. Okay, so 9:30, get a nice push to the upside. We opened right around 11,818, and then we just immediately start boosting towards the 900s and get a nice 100-point push within the first 20 minutes of the open with a little bit of a rejection. So right now, I'm kind of just letting the market do its thing. It's Monday. I'm not eager to jump into a position. I'd rather wait for a clean directional move, see what we got going on, and then proceed accordingly. So with this trading activity, I'm pretty much just keeping my eyes out, letting a little bit of history build on the day, and then assessing it as time goes on later into the session. So for the first 30 minutes, we're just ripping straight up, just ripping face, moving to the upside, and we approach the prior day close. From there, we pull back just a bit and then keeping an eye out right now. I'm not really looking to enter any positions. It's the first 30 minutes of the new week. I'm going to be a little bit more patient, especially given the fact that it's Monday. Monday is, the start of the week. We've got the first 30 minutes on the first day of the week. There's really no reason to be forcing or jumping into trades. We have all week put on risk, all week to find opportunities. So given that information, I'm just letting the market kind of do its thing, present itself accordingly. And if something does pop up, then I'm definitely going to be interested on capitalizing on it. Let's take a further look here and see what's going on. We do end up getting a bit of a rejection from this prior day close along with this overnight high volume area. So this is around 10 a.m. now, and I'm just letting it do its thing. Not really eager to get in anything yet. And we start seeing that sustained push. So we start seeing buying activity pick up, come down into the session VWAP, into the 24-hour VWAP, and just push back up to the prior day high and the overnight high at this point. So we're starting to clear that prior day close. And for basically what this is telling me is that we have buyers here. There is some good buying pressure in this market. And now I'm basically setting up mentally to look for a pullback and enter long, so long as this overnight high volume area zone holds as a potential support. So, or I'm also thinking maybe we break out of this range here, which I've highlighted with this yellow box, and maybe play a retest or something of that nature. So overall, I'm definitely more inclined now, given this daily action, to a long trade. So taking a step further, let's see what we got going on. Right around 11:10, we make that high for the day so far, and then we start to pull back. So when we start to pull back here, now I'm putting my attention on the value area low for the session, lining up with the prior day value area high, and most importantly, this overnight high volume area. So this whole zone right here from, let's just say, 850s to 880-ish is basically where I'm looking for a potential pullback long, and that is where I'm looking to get involved in the trade. So let's see what we got going on, and let's see how I traded it. So we get that dump down into 870, and this is where I first start to dabble long on this trade, guys. So let's take a look at the executions and see how we did. All right, this is my Sierra chart here, guys. So I get my first long position in right here around 880, and I actually ended up stopping this position out. So this position I get filled, give it a couple minutes, and it ends up stopping out. No worries, this is all according to the plan. Risk is managed accordingly here. I'm basically setting up to where if this trade doesn't work out, I have another level that I'm ready to get involved at according to my strategy, and take another stab at playing that move to the upside. So we could see here that I actually ended up getting filled right here, literally right on that low. So that was a great entry. Now, perfect entry, great trade in that regard, but let's take a look at TradingView and see kind of the thought process behind that and what was going on. So we had value area low for the day, we have the high volume area, and we have extension from the session view app. So great, cool, everything looks good here. We have nice volume, intraday ATRs moving, everything looks good for this trade. And then that's where I get the fill. We get an instant rejection from that area, a 10-minute candle. So we pull right down and then immediately, hammer off that, get a nice move. So boom, so we get filled, cool, all is well. This is where it started to get a little bit tricky into the session for me. And this is where my human emotions kicked in. This is where I made a mistake. It doesn't matter really how long you've been doing this. We're all human. We make mistakes. This is where I was reminded of that. But it did come with a nice learning opportunity and a nice lesson. So let's jump into it and see what we had going on. Let me back this thing up. So this is where, we start to get filled right there. And then now we have this red line. Red line, high volume area. This is called the point of control. This is where 70% of the trading activity is taking place. This is a key area. This is where a lot of people are getting involved in trades. And this is where I messed up. So let's take a look at how that happened, really. So in my trade, we get that instant rejection. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to see. Then we just started chopping. We started chopping at this point of control in between the value area low. And that's when I started messing with it a little bit. If we go back and take a look at the executions here, we could see that, this is a 2-minute chart, by the way. So we're going to have more bars, but we could see here, this is where I started messing with it. And, we got that rejection there and we ended up taking out that low, and I just got too protective. I took out a little bit more than I would have liked to at this spot. I still left a good amount for me to be able to capitalize on the move, and that's fine, which is perfect. I didn't take out too much to where I completely compromised the trade, but I definitely took off a good piece that trimmed some meat off the bone. Now, all good, with the trade outcome, but that was the mistake that I made, and that is something that comes with this lesson. Protective covering will help you or make you feel like you're doing something beneficial in the short term, but I can guarantee you that it does not do you any favors in the long run. Even though I'm aware of this, still a human and I still make mistakes every now and then, and this is one of the mistakes that I did make. After today, definitely something that I'm going to be aware of and be, implementing it more strictly into my process. But that is where I messed up on the trade a little bit. Took off a little bit of meat on that trade that I really didn't want to or shouldn't have taken as much off. but I did, is what it is. Let's take a look at the outcome of the trade. After that happened, I was like, all right, I'm not covering any more from there. I'm just going to stick to my planned exits and let's see what happens. So we approach the value area high for the session, give it a little bit of a rejection, get closer there, and I ended up taking off a small piece at the value area high, and then trade just continues to go throughout the day. So this trade was a beautiful, beautiful runner, a great long trade. And this is just one of those trades that had legs. It really, really moved. It was a great trade. From my entry to my last exit, it was around a 200-point long. So it is a very, very nice move for an intraday trade on the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the executions and see how we did there. So I'm actually gonna have to shrink this thing a little bit so we can see. So we get the long there. This is where I messed up, took off a little bit more than I should have, but it's okay. I still left some meat on the bone to capitalize on the rest of the move. So get filled, and then this is where I clipped that runner, and that was the trade, guys. So from around 850s to 12040s, nice 200-point move, great long trade. We got the stats right here, courtesy of TradeZella. That is this trade, guys. Nice little long bounce trade on the NQ. Hope you guys enjoyed this recap. Hope you guys liked the technical breakdown and found it valuable, and maybe were able to take some notes and pull something from it and apply it to your own trading, guys. So as long as you keep that risk managed, those little losses don't mean anything. It's all about keeping risk tight, keeping runners capped, and letting those winning trades actually run and have those legs that sometimes they do have, and they can really sprint and give you those nice 200-point moves. So make sure you guys are following your planned exits. That is the only thing that I really wish I did different on this trade. Ended up taking off a little bit of the R that I was planning to catch on this, but still a good R factor overall in the trade. Still, very pleased with the outcome. And, trading is one of those things where you always feel like you could do better, especially if you hold yourself to a high standard. But you always got to be grateful for those good moves, and just know that when you're green, somebody else is red. So finish the day green. Nice 200-point long trade on the NQ, guys. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.